Hello, Loose Lug Nation. Welcome to edition number 57 of the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast. Mark, number 57. Who do you think of when you think of the number 57?
Jason Keller, and that's all I got, man. How's that? 57. That number is just non-existent.
Yeah, not super popular. I think of Landry Potter, who raced around Wisconsin for a little bit in that old, you can probably pick out the year of the car that was. That was a very sharp car. Jason Keller in the what is known as the Xfinity Series. Johnny Helford, Hud Strickland, Jimmy Spencer, and Norm Benning in the truck, some to race the number 57, but not a popular number.
Yeah, I think I remember the 57 being the Excedrin car back in the day. It was red and white. When I think of 57, I think of back in the day when I was growing up, the Fox River Racing Club, when the guys got away from the coupes, they were driving 57 Chevys, man. That was the car to have. And then the Wolf River Club was driving 57 Pontiacs. So when I think of 57, I'm thinking of that number, of that great racing back in the day when I was just a knee-high to a grasshopper there.
Yeah, you've seen a little bit more racing than I have, unfortunately. I know there was some good times back then, but let's start this off here. We're going to go in a little bit of a different order here. First off, we want to say our thoughts and prayers are out to David Gillen Racing and that the whole NASCAR family with that transporter accident with the ARCA car going out west. Man, just a super sad deal.
Yeah, man, that would look like a really nasty accident there. And our hearts go out to that one, man. That was a bad deal there. So,
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're joined by Ty Majeski, who comes off of a top 10 finish out at Las Vegas. Ty, thanks for joining us once again. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well down here in South Alabama Speedway for the Rattler 250. So had a couple practice days the last 2 days, and we go into qualifying and then tomorrow and race on Sunday.
Well, let's get into your Las Vegas truck race there. You qualified 10th. All of ThorSport qualified in the top 10. You continue to show great speed. The whole team does.
Yeah, and that's Daytona is sort of its own deal. Definitely an anomaly race. So Vegas is really the first true litmus test of who's been doing their homework and who's been working on their stuff during the off season. Who did all the research and came with the right package with some of the rules changes that NASCAR has thrown our way. So really happy to see all four trucks show really good speed all weekend. It's just a testament to all the guys at the shop and all the development we've done through the off season, and hopefully we can keep marching forward.
Hey, you've been catching a lot of stage points there, Ty, and you're third in points right now. That's pretty exciting, and a good start out of the box, huh?
Yeah, great start to the year. If you'd told me I'd be third in points heading into Atlanta, I'd be really happy with it. So, there's definitely some things that we can improve on as a team and myself, and just making sure we're maximizing everything on restarts and on pit road, and of course on the race truck as well. So, for just getting started, a new team, it's been a really, really good start. So happy with it. Definitely a good base to build off of. I know as we work together more and more, we'll keep getting better and better.
Yeah, you finished 9th in stage 1, finished 3rd in stage 2 by staying out after a late caution there in that stage. Some good stage points, as Mark mentioned, but you did lose a little bit of track position. How crucial was track position at Las Vegas, and would you change your strategy if you had to do it again?
Stage points are so important. You definitely want to keep the track position, in the first stage. So you sort of want to, if you can short pit that first stage, you do it, and then cycle back to the lead to start stage 2, and then always collect your stage points in stage 2. That way, obviously, if there's opportunity to short pit stage 2, those guys that stay out or that pit and then stay out at the end of the stage, even though they don't get stage points, they then gain the track position. But stage 2 is always at the halfway break in the race. So our theory is get stage points while you can in stage 2, and then the theory is you have more time to get that track position back. So we're points racing. I know it's only the second race in, but stage points are crucial into pointing your way into the playoffs if we are fortunate enough to win a race before then. So we're already thinking ahead, and it's showing the point standing. So I liked our strategy. Track position is always important at these truck races, but we try and maximize track position throughout the race and stage points throughout the race, and it's obviously a trade-off.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of the elephant in the room here. Your teammate Ben Rhodes kind of pushed you up out of turn 4 there up into the marbles. It appeared that you were just trying to gather it back up. You both make contact again, and he goes hard into the wall. Talk about the unfortunate incident there and the conversation that happens on Monday or maybe at the racetrack before you leave.
Yeah, I mean, you never want that to happen. I'm at the shop every single day working on all these teams' trucks, not just my own. And the last thing you want to do is destroy a truck. It not only puts the 99 team behind, but now that truck needs to get put back into production, and it sets us all behind. So you never want to first of all wreck anybody like that, and let alone a teammate. So the circumstance, it was, obviously it was not intentional on my part at all. There's certain replays that make it look that way, but the air is moving around a lot. And like you said, I was more worried about staying off the wall. And then by the time I was comfortable with staying off the wall, my trajectory was already, towards Ben's right rear. So obviously a scary incident. Glad Ben's okay. You never want to right rear somebody down the straightaway, especially not in a tri-oval like that. The angles and stuff are much worse. So the truck's repairable, but more importantly, he was okay. So obviously not a good situation for anybody involved. Just feel really terrible about it still, and felt really, really bad about it right after it happened. So all I can say, it wasn't intentional on my end, but never want to see any of that happen, intentional or not.
Ty, there was a lot of wind that was going on, especially blowing down the backstretch. When you come out of 4 and them trucks, push a big hole in the air like that, how does that wind affect that, especially coming out of 3 and then coming into 4? It gives you a crosswind. Does that make the truck unstable?
Yeah, the wind was a factor really all weekend. Just it was 40, 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts. And it affects the truck a lot, especially coming off of 4. It was sort of basically the wind was pushing on the left side of the truck. And then opposite in 1 and 2 pushing on the right side of the truck. So it created a lot of grip, a lot of side force in 1 and 2, but the opposite in 3 and 4. So it was something we had to manage the entire race and keep in mind as we were racing closely with each other.
How are you able to regroup after the unfortunate incident? I know all drivers move on quickly, but speak to how that happens. And is there a trick that you do to try to move on quicker than normal? Because I just think about myself, and I think I would have a little bit of a hard time after it, even though I know nothing was intentional or anything like that. So talk a little bit about trying to regroup after that.
Yeah, even though it wasn't intentional, it was, I took full responsibility for it. And, the only thing you can say to Ben after that is, just obviously apologize and say you'll do better next time. And, like I said, he was skeptical about the whole situation, about it, whether it was intentional or not, which he should have. Like I said, there are views or replays or angles that make it look pretty bad. So we just had to talk through it, and all I can say is we're moving on, we're moving forward. We talked for about 45 minutes. He came to Sandusky on Monday, and we talked for about 45 minutes Monday morning, and talked it through. He's a good, mature guy, and feel like I am as well. And we've been able to just move forward, and I think it'll bring us closer together as teammates and people in the future. So we have a lot of good teammates at ThorSport. 4 really competitive teams. four competitive drivers with four really good trucks. So you're racing each other up front every week. Unfortunately, those things are going to happen. And Ben and I just made it clear that if we ever had issues with each other in the future, that we handle it off the racetrack and not on, which I obviously definitely agree with. So, but bottom line is we're all moving on, we're all moving forward, and we're gonna work together, hopefully better than we ever have in the past.
And I just want to say this. I know we've talked about it together. I've talked about talking to Ben at the track one time. You guys have a great relationship coming into this because you actually race karts against each other. So I'm sure that helps a little bit. But moving forward here, you finished 10th after Zane Smith gets DQ'd with a lug nut issue there. All in all, a pretty good day for the 66 team.
Yeah, it was solid. We showed signs of speed capable of being able to run inside the top five. We just missed the balance a little bit. Some of the things we were doing setup wise just wasn't great in traffic. But it was a good baseline, good points day for us, a good baseline run. So we have a direction to go for the next intermediate. So really happy with where our team is at, where we're at speed wise. We have a really good platform to build off of.
Hey, looking next week, man, at Atlanta on a track that's repaved, it's got everything all done. What do you know about Atlanta that it's all been remodeled up? And what are you looking forward to in Atlanta next week?
Well, I don't know if other than going to the racetrack and racing, I don't know that there's a whole lot to look forward to. Everybody used to get so excited about Atlanta. Low grip, slippery racetrack, a ton of tire fall off. Everything that drivers look for in a racetrack, right? Now it's a repaved, single groove. The paving job is mediocre. It's rough. And NASCAR's put the fins on the back spoiler, so they added drag, and they decided to put the super speedway restrictor plate on. So you'll be seeing a bunch of trucks in a pack, just like Daytona. So if you're into that type of thing, make sure you tune in. If you're not, unfortunately, that's the reality we're going to be living in for the next week. So not my type of race, but we showed really good at Daytona, so we can take some of the things that made us good at Daytona and apply them to Atlanta. Hopefully, show that same amount of speed.
You do have one truck start there, finished 19th. Obviously, this is a totally different situation, though. Is there, in previous years, we always talk about the Harvick line, and obviously this has changed this year, as previously mentioned. But was there a Harvick line in the trucks in previous years as well, or could you move around a little bit more in the trucks?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy who made their truck work around the bottom ended up, winning the race, much like the Cup race. Harvick was always so dominant there. Obviously running his line right on the bottom, and they worked on that throughout practice and made it work. And if you can make it work, you're probably going to end up winning the race. But you could move around, but everyone tries to replicate what Harvick does every single Sunday there. It's incredibly hard to do so. Your race vehicle's got to be right, and you've got to be on point as a driver to be consistent, because if you slip up even 6 or 8 inches off of your mark, off of the very bottom, you've kind of defeated the purpose. So there's just not as much grip as up there as there is right on that line or even below it. So like you said, unfortunately that is all gone and in the past. You definitely don't want to be that low anymore, because now you're gonna drag the left side of your splitter off, and that you lose a ton of downforce that all these guys working on putting on your truck. The second that left side splitter is gone, that a lot of that is gone. So definitely not going to be seeing much of the Harvick line in Atlanta anymore.
What are your thoughts on the season in all three series so far? I know, specifically the Cup series, the new car. You had some comments after the Auto Club practice. Surprisingly to us too, and we haven't talked about it on the podcast yet, it actually turned out to be a pretty good race compared to what we saw in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, the racing honestly has been great, especially from a fan's perspective. The drivers are having to work really hard. The teams are having to work hard to make these cars drivable. for the drivers. So it's been a joy to watch as a fan, that's for sure. I hope everybody else is enjoying it as much as I am. The racing is great. Sort of the unknown of who's going to be good that day has been great. You're getting guys who don't, haven't typically ran up front with the previous car. You're seeing them, have spurts of speed throughout different stages of the race, and I think that's great. Back a couple years ago, you could pretty much chalk it up to a Harvick or a Kyle Busch or a Denny Hamlin, sort of, dominating, and it'd always be the same guys up front. Now you're seeing a lot of variability and who's fast that weekend. So I think it's great for the teams, great for the drivers, and it's been a joy to watch so far.
Hey, I see that you're down in Alabama down there going to try to win another rattlesnake there, buddy. I see you're fastest in third practice, man. You got the car dialed in. What kind of racetrack is that? That's kind of a bucket list for me. What you got going on down there this weekend?
Yeah, it's a big 3/8 or a small half, however you want to look at it. It's sort of a cross between the surface is a lot like Madison. The way the corners are a lot like the Dells. So there's a lot of different things going on with the racetrack, but it's a little racy place. You can make two grooves work. A lot of tire fall off, slicks off during the day. You always fight loose into turn 3. Everybody's going to be loose into turn 3, and it's kind of whoever can manage that and still keep their car rolling the center. So typically or historically, our package has been pretty good here, and hopefully that stays true on Sunday.
Well, you've won the Rattler a few times. Talk about that rattlesnake being thrown behind you there. That's crazy. I don't know how I would handle that.
Yeah, it's not ideal, that's for sure. I got bailed out in 2020. That was the year COVID hit real hard, and the race actually got pushed back from March to May. And apparently I was told that the warmer weather, the rattlesnakes get disgruntled easier, and it was unsafe to actually have a real snake there. So I had to settle for a plastic rubber snake instead of the real one. So that was kind of funny. But no, when that snake gets put around your neck, man, you can feel it feel it crawling on your neck and stuff. It's wild, but it's a bucket list thing for sure.
I'm sure you enjoy having it behind you because that means you're taking home the trophy, but unbelievable.
Definitely.
Well, hey, you have always been so gracious with your time. Thanks again, buddy. We know you're busy this weekend. Good luck in Atlanta next week and also at the Rattler this weekend. We're rooting for you. Thank you so much again.
Sounds great, guys. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yep, good luck, man. See you later.
Well, Mark, always good to catch up with Ty. Like I said, that rattlesnake, I don't think I want any part of that. I'll finish second any day to not have that.
Yeah. I see that snake and they drape it over around you like this and just like, yeah, it's quite unique. But he's won it a few times, so he kind of, I guess, expects it. Maybe he'll get lucky and they'll have another plastic one for him. A plastic snake just to make up for it. I can see getting ornery when it gets hot out too. So,
hey, people get a hot. So, I guess that makes a little bit of sense.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. Thanks again to Ty for joining us. Always good to catch up with him. Like I said, we got to talk about Auto Club and then Las Vegas. So let's recap the Xfinity series here first. Stage 1, Trevor Bayne, who was driving Joe Gibbs Racing number 18 a few times this year, he wins Stage 1, followed by Custer, Allgaier, Gregson, who scrapes the wall coming to the finish. Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger, Barry, Ryan Sieg, Hemrick, and Mayer. What were your highlights in Stage 1?
Well, first thing about California, that backstretch was just so bumpy, years ago, and they said that they straightened it all out, and I think they could have did a better job on that. That backstretch still had some bumps that was going to it. California, it's an old pavement that you got to keep your tires off the seams. The seams are quite slick. We've seen a lot of spin outs throughout the weekend. because of the seams. But yeah, California is quite the classic, and I'm glad they kept that so far.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. Again, they were talking about moving it into a half mile, which makes sense because we need more short tracks. But it's one of the best intermediate tracks that we have. I'm leaning towards that they should leave it, and it sounds like they may be doing that.
Yeah, and the racing was good, and the drivers like it, and it's got character. So, and it's fun on iRacing too. When you come off a turn 4 and you hit that just right, if you hit that just right coming off a 4, that's one of the most fun corners that there is in racing. I love that place.
I agree with you. I like that place on there as well. My highlights in stage 1, Austin Hill got a push down the front stretch early and it goes wrong. He hit the wall with the right front pretty good. No caution was there, but his car was hurt pretty bad. I think it was Barry who was pushing him. And then Landon Castle was on fire a little while after Austin Hill had his issue. It ended up being a really big fire. Yeah, it's it's been a little while since we've seen a fire like that, Mark.
Yeah, that's an oil fire that was going, man, and that thing went woof. Yeah, pretty hot fire. So you'll have that though with an oil fire. So
yeah, it was hot.
Mhm.
Stage 2 was won by Cole Custer. Then it was Jones, Allgaier, Gregson, Gibbs, Hemrick, AJ, Mayer, Barry, and Herbst. Some highlights in stage 2. Gibbs spun after contact with Hemrick. Looked like just aggressive side drafting. Those two were teammates last year, remember? And then Gregson and Hemrick have another tight battle there. Maybe some contact. Remember they have history, and last week at Daytona they made a little bit of contact, or the previous week to that race, and then but they're teammates in Cups. So the other big thing that I want to say is what a save by Brandon Jones. It was a close call for a few drivers, but wow.
Yeah, he just scuffed his rear bumper when he came off of turn 4, and it was a good save. How about that big donut on Hemrick's car? I mean, that was when Gibbs got into him, and then Gibbs went through the grass, and you just kind of hold your breath waiting to see if it'll take the splitter off. I heard announcers actually been saying, "Why can't we have turf?" I think it was Kurt Busch that said this last time that he just wishes, why can't we just have AstroTurf and take the grass out of it? Yeah, Ty Gibbs got lucky on that deal. Then take the front end off.
Yeah, I was expecting that to happen as well. Of course, Kurt's a racer, so he's going to advocate for that. I've been advocating for that as well as
Yeah.
well. So I hope they do something soon. But gosh, we've talked about that so much here. I don't want to hang my head too much on that. Later in the race, Custer had a bat pit stop, but he comes from 7th to lead the first green flag lap. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that car was impressive all week, all race, man. That thing was up front all day.
Yep. Unfortunately for AJ, he had a pit with what he says was a loose wheel. Couple of late cautions. Buford spun. Myatt Snyder slapped the wall. Barry got into the back bumper of Allgaier, and Allgaier hit the wall. There's some teammates getting into it. And then the big incident, Jones got spun by Hemrick. They make contact, and then it went into overtime.
Yeah, there was the sand barrels there, and he just slid her in there, and the rear tires are in the grass, and he could see it coming, and you could see him trying to gas her up. And man, that was a sand explosion that went on there. It was an instant beach. Yeah, it was a good thing that it hit on that end of the vehicle. He would have probably got jolted a little bit more if that would have been more center of the car. But yeah, that was a solid sand bomb is what that was when he hit that.
Yeah, and those are the hits that kind of scare me when they're solid like that. Luckily it was passenger side, but yeah, you're right. Sand explosion. And in fact, Jones got spun by Hemrick. That was before Jones. So Jones had to go to the back, and then he got involved in the big incident. Actually, two brother-in-laws are what started the sand explosion incident. It was Creed and Parsons that started that. I wonder how Easter will go coming up for those brother-in-laws.
Well, yeah, there was something like what's going on here, and so yeah, they mentioned that on the broadcast. So we'll see how it goes for the holiday, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. We just, you hear about the Bush brothers having their issues and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. So, just some good fun there. How about Cole Custer? He wins the race strong all day long in that SS Greenlight Racing. It was the first win for that team. Kudos to those men and women that work on that car and those teams. Gregson was second, then Bain, Barry, Alfredo, Mayer, Almendinger, Allgaier, Herbst, and Sieg.
Who is that owner of that 07? I'm drawing a blank. He drove around here in the Midwest. There's a trivia question for you, buddy.
Yep.
Bobby, how about Bobby Dotter? That's who I'm thinking.
There you go. There you go.
Bobby Dotter, yeah. And he says he does all kinds of things. He's got to be an old boy up there, and up there in age, because I remember him racing around here, and so good for him, man. Good stuff. And it sounds like he's a real well-liked guy in the pit. So good stuff.
Absolutely. That's a team that struggled. So they put Cole Custer in, have a little bit of alliance with Stuart Haas Racing, and they come alive.
Yep, it sure did. That 07 was stout, man. That was good stuff. Gregson couldn't catch him there at the end. So, yep. It was a very good, interesting Xfinity race at California.
Yep. Let's go into the Cup race. Well, there was a lot of issues in practice and qualifying, as you heard us talk about with Ty. He had some comments about it too. It was you and I talked for a little bit the day of practice and qualifying, and we were not sure what we were going to get.
One thing that I noticed right away is what a sad crowd. How can you pack the Coliseum and then all of a sudden you go out to California and then that crowd was very disappointing. Kurt Busch found out what happens when you fail inspection 3 times. And, that kind of sucks that you got to do a pass-through penalty after you've already, got to start in the back and you don't get pit selection. And, I mean, wow. But in the long run, he passed the most cars that day, and he made it work. But that's a heck of a penalty, man. You better make sure you get your stuff straight before if you get penalized 3 times, man, that's a pretty stiff penalty.
Hey, that's the deterrent for not having it, not going over that line. So that's kind of what the fans wanted, and they stepped over it too many times.
But practice. All of a sudden, I sat down on Friday and watched practice and watched Harvick. He first corner, he comes out of 4 and bang, he backs into the wall. And that team did not have a backup car practically out there, so they ended up rebuilding that rear end of that car. It's amazing how some of these teams don't have. I mean, these guys personally don't have a car. The team has a backup car, and Buscher, and then Chastain when he hit that wall. Man, that was scary. It was a few minutes, and he still wasn't out of the car. And then just like, I text you and I said, he might be hurt, that was a bad deal. Bubba Wallace, he smacked turn 2 and he did some damage to his vehicle. Keselowski, he's been spinning everywhere this year so far, and he did one all on his own. And this was just all practice, man. And just like, finally by the time they figured it out, we seen 2 good saves by Almirola. I mean, Almirola in that practice one, that was the save of the year, man. He just did a plain old power slide and landed her down on pit road. So it was really the first time out of the box to see what these cars would all do. And boy, they were loose, man, snappy loose. All of a sudden you watch these guys and they're driving, and all of a sudden the wheel just lets go on them and it's gone. There's no side force there. So big learning curve, man, on a high speed racetrack there.
No doubt. And that's what the drivers wanted, and the fans are enjoying it a little bit too. It's very challenging, as it should be. Could it be a little better where you're not totally afraid of it? Maybe, but I think they did a pretty good job in the race, and we'll talk about that here. Boy, how about Eric Jones? He dominated the first portion of stage 1. A caution came out for Kyle Busch spinning, which ended up being the competition caution. But Eric Jones is having a pretty good start to the year.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, how'd you like the 5 wide salute to start the race, man? I thought
Yeah,
that was kind of unique. There were some people that had all kinds of comments. Some people liked it, some didn't. I thought it was pretty cool.
yeah, and I should say too, how about Austin Cindric capturing the pole? How about staying hot, young fella? I mean, he comes off the Daytona 500 win, and the next week he has the pole. Boy, not too many people saw that coming.
No, not at all. All of a sudden, yeah, get him while he's hot, huh?
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, no doubt. Chase Elliott was leading shortly after the competition caution, but he hit the wall twice while leading. The first time he hit it pretty good. Then he spun a few laps after the second one. Just before Chase spun, Kyle Busch had a pit due to losing water. I think he had sand in the car from his previous spin, but all of the Joe Gibbs racing cars kind of had a overheating issue.
And that deal actually came out when on the broadcast at Vegas. They said Larry McReynolds said that they put a fine screen in the intake of the grill, and it was too fine of a screen, and it was actually, with the sand and the dirt that was all going on internally, you couldn't see it on the outside, but there was a fine screen inside, and they found out that that was too fine of a screen, and yeah, they were. Kyle Busch, he was blowing water out of her, and he said she was well over 300. And Denny Hamlin later on had the same issue. Yeah, you can't run them when they're 300 degrees and they're blowing water out of them.
Yeah. This was the start of people's legs falling asleep. Reddick was having an issue in this race. He couldn't really get a good feel for the brakes due to it falling asleep. Truex got loose and up into the wall. Cindric made slight contact, but wow, that could have been much worse. Larson and Cindric actually made very light contact as well due to Cindric trying to avoid.
Yeah, they said that the pedals, they used to be mounted from under the dash, and now they're mounted on the floor, so there's a whole different angle to it. And they're thinking that also that, the foot box has to be adjusted on these vehicles because there's a different position of how they got their legs and on their feet like there, and they're gonna have to work on it now. They were talking about he was doing too many squats and he's got more muscle. But I guess that's pretty scary when all of a sudden, your freaking legs are going numb. And they thought that they fixed the problem. And apparently, even for Vegas, he was even actually still having more problems. Was
Yeah.
Reddick on that one? Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't we all been working out a little bit and have that problem in our passenger car too?
Yeah. 12-ounce curls, man. I've been working out pretty good this winter.
That's right. Reddick goes on and wins stage one. Jones, Byron, Briscoe, Larson, Bowman, Logano, Blaney, Cindric, and Stenhouse after him. How about Gilliland losing a wheel under caution? Yikes.
Yeah, that was something else. Hey, that Briscoe, huh? That is a surprise. But that 14 car, he's got that thing cooking this year, and it's quite a surprise on that. But yeah, good stuff out of him too.
Absolutely. Kyle Busch was a couple laps down. He then had a flat tire, so his day gets a little worse. We'll talk about him a little later on. Then Joey squeezes Larson, who loses a spot due to that. And then Hamlin had to come down due to overheating. There was a caution when Bell went around, though, so that kind of saved him. He went through pit road, did not stop. We had a little bit of an issue at Auto Club with people getting flat tires and not being able to get around. It was a little frustrating, and I know they're working on it, but man, that was kind of a bummer.
The 20, by the time they pushed him back to the pit and got him there, he was 4 laps down.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't get back, and the vehicle was laying on its belly, and so yeah, there's a lot of vehicles this weekend after that weekend. I thought there was an improvement this last one. We'll talk about it at Vegas, where actually some people were actually being able to, so they're correcting that problem. But a vehicle's got to be able to get back to the pit.
Yep.
It just can't sit there and have a wrecker come out there and save you every time. And that's so time consuming. And by the time they get around to it, and then, when these cars are laying on their belly like that, and then you watch these guys try to pick that car up, and it's practically impossible. You almost need a wedge to get underneath there, just to get it off the ground so you can get something underneath there. That's another learning curve that they're learning on this car. When she's on its belly for sure.
Oh yeah, lot of learning curves here, learning a bunch of stuff. Cindric squeezed up in front of Bowman on the backstretch. That was very close. Busher spun with a flat tire. Brad spun off a four after getting loose and moving up in front of Logano. They made a little bit of contact after Brad was already loose. Former teammates there. Brad isn't really making too many friends here. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Reddick also wins stage 2, so he sweeps the stages. Jones, Logano, Blaney, Larson, Custer, Cindric, Almirola, Byron, and Hamlin were the top 10 at the end of stage 2.
When Keselowski spun and Hamlin was coming through, I don't know how Hamlin missed him. He just I was just waiting for him to just punch him and somehow, and then he had some decent comments on the radio like it's unbelievable. Still don't know how he missed him. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, couldn't get any closer, put it that way.
Yeah, and they once when we went to the second stage, they decided to have Matt Kenseth call Logano and ask him how his race was going down there, huh? He said you wouldn't expect somebody like me that would talk, on the radio, so that was pretty good. I was waiting for Ricky to get a call from Danica this week too, so. But that was good. That was good stuff.
It was good stuff. So the question is, did he say "What's up, prick," or did he say something else? "What's up, friend"? I thought at first he said "friend." I went back and listened to it after you kind of pointed it out to me. I really didn't think twice about it. I think I'm leaning towards prick, but I think Matt said he said friend. Matt did an interview and he heard friend. So I'm going to go with Matt Kenseth and say that he had friend, but I don't know. It's questionable.
I will take the reaction of Mike Joy and Boyer. And, because I text you right after that and go, hey, did he just call him a prick? And that's what it sounded like to me. And there's a lot of other people put on there, and so I'm going to stick with that. And they all took it with, they all laughed about it and everything like that. So, and Matt, he'd just blow that off. They call him the brat and everything like that. So they can call him a prick too. So, yeah, Joey still remembers that. So, yeah, it was funny. That was good stuff. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, even if he said friend, still hilarious. So I thought he said friend, and I was laughing my tail off here. Because it was a good moment. They all know, okay, the elephant's in the room. Matt has the best humor for something like that because it's so dry and natural.
That's what I was going to say, a dry humor, but it's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the best.
I could see him coming back to the booth. I'd enjoy that, for a first time being in the booth. I could see him coming back and doing that again. Well, he was all right.
2 thumbs up for Matt Kenseth in the booth. That was that was good stuff. I love his humor. So after all of that happened, Almirola had a huge slide. He saves it, but he had to come down pit road. Reddick unfortunately blew a tire going into turn 1. He was dominant all day, and coming out of 2, Byron clips him, and obviously Reddick gets more damage. Byron slams the wall. Boy, that was unfortunate for 2 guys that were having good days.
Like Reddick, I don't know what he was probably, just limping along, and also this 24 just comes up and just, he lost it, and he didn't know that, but he creamed him. All of a sudden, like, what the heck? And it's just wrong place, wrong time, and boy, they got some major damage out of both of them.
Yeah, Bubba and Brad make contact and spin. Cindric and Burton get involved there. Custer had to go through the grass to make it to pit road under caution, but the yellow line is down a ways, so he was okay. That is very interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure. There was the thing about that I have noticed of how many problems is on the pits, the speeding, all kinds of things. There's been multiple things that people are just absolutely messing up their pits, and it's everybody. That what I've seen. I've been jotting down all the things that are going on pit road, speeding, and dropping a tire on the holes like Hamlin, just last week, just stupid things, but man, I tell you what, all them mistakes all add up that messes up your finish, man. But it's amazing how much the pits have really, they've struggled.
Yeah, for sure. Bowman drags the wall in 3 and 4. Larson goes to block Elliott and puts Elliott in the wall. They were also bad in Logano, who was on the inside for the lead. Elliott was not happy, obviously. Then he shows his displeasure with Larson as Larson laps him a few laps after the contact. Then Elliott spins a few laps later with Larson leading with 9 to go. But it was a good battle until the end after that with Larson, Suarez, and Austin Dillon. Larson holds on to win. Dillon was second. Jones, Suarez, Logano, Almirola, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Hemrick, and Stenhouse were your top 10. I tell you what, you look at Suarez, if he chose the wrong line in one of the corners, he could have easily picked up the win there. You look at Jones, you look at Austin Dillon. Almirola is the only driver who's been consistently in the top 10 all year. The parity with this car early on is awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. Once when you look at the finals, Almirola right there he's the only one that's got 2 top 10s. Everybody else, 19 other cars, all have a top 10. That's kind of strange. Hey, how about Hemrick? He finished 9th. He was 5 laps down with a broken shifter, and he came back. Kyle Busch, with that overheating, he found himself like 3 laps down and worked his way back up, and he ended up getting like a 13th or 14th. That was a major recovery for there.
I knew you were going to point that one out.
Well, yeah, because I had Kyle Busch, and I don't know what happened to your Blaney there at the end, but he just plain faded out of nowhere. He fell off the face of the earth, So, where did Austin Dillon come from? All of a sudden, he wasn't around all day. All of a sudden, he pops to second place. And good to see Jonesy. See Eric Jones get good run. So yeah, we're starting to see some lesser teams getting good results so far, and I hope that goes on the rest of this year. Where somebody just has the right setup and makes it work. So all good stuff. Yeah, I texted you once when Elliott. He sat there and spun by himself there, and then I got on a paper here and I texted you and I said, did he do that on purpose? Just because Kyle was leading, and I questioned it when I first saw it, and you says no, Chase wouldn't do that, but it looked a little fishy. That was the first thing that I thought of there. But yeah, I agree. I don't think he would do that, but it was just such an nice little easy spin, and like thinking that maybe he wanted Kyle to earn that win. So that was my thinking there at the end of that race.
Well, I just think that Chase Elliott's loyalty to Mr. H would go too far for him to risk a win, even if it was done wrong by his teammate. So I don't even think that was going to be a possibility. So I said no right away to that. Yeah, they've gotten closer as teammates there, but maybe a little bit of rivalry brewing. I heard on Sirius XM, maybe we should talk about this later. I guess I'll mention here, asking if Bowman has overtaken Elliott as the number 2 driver at Hendrick. Maybe we should talk about that a little bit. I just wanted to put that out there. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the parity. I mean, Suarez, because of won that race. Dillon was close if he could have got a run. Jones was strong all day. Man, it's just great to see. Gilliland is going to lose a crew chief for 4 races after losing that wheel at Auto Club. So big penalty there. Unfortunately, we've seen a few of those this year already. And then let's transition right away into Las Vegas, the trucks. How about this, Mark? Todd Bodine making his 795th start will make $5 to make it 800. He's going to be racing for Helmer Racing. Also, Crafton was making his 500th start.
Yeah, Onion's back out there, and he said he was just out there to have fun, and he ended up having a lot of fun in this race, man. A lot of things have changed since 8 years since he's been in the truck. It changed for him, but yeah, as long as he was only looking out for fun, but it was a challenging deal for him for sure.
Yeah, he kind of had a rough go at it. Stage 1 ends under caution. Rhodes was the winner, then Chandler Smith, Tanner Gray, Wood, Hulsevar, Crafton, Bush, Nemechek, Majeski, and Zane Smith, although Zane Smith got DQ'd there due to a lug nut issue, as we were talking to Ty earlier. So Priest was your 10th place finisher in stage 1. Zane Smith and Kobe Howard made contact on a late restart there. And Howard went around, collect Purdy and Deegan, and Crafton got a piece of that there. That's what made it under caution.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, man, there was an article that came out today about these lug nuts.
Yeah.
And it came out today, and I was reading the article, and they're like maybe a quarter of them were legal and the rest of them weren't from the supplier. It was the lug nuts for the Xfinity and Truck Series. So that was a breaking story, and there's going to be more to that. So it's something that you can actually look and see what they're talking about, these lug nuts that's out there.
Yeah, I'll be curious about that because I saw on social media, not that this is credible at all, but that someone bought a brand new bag, and I think it was like a quarter or a third of them were legal, or maybe even less than that were legal. So the weird thing is he lost his appeal already, so I don't know if they're going to do anything regarding that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah, so the appeal, he lost the appeal. They were disappointed about that. So I don't know if they're going to look at that further now that article's come out and more people are publishing stuff about it, but just unfortunate. Hey, how about that close call for Ty in stage 2? Should have brought this up to him. Nemechek comes down. Yeah, Eckes goes to the inside. There were 3 wide. I don't think Nemechek realized it that quick. There was some big contact there, and they were fighting for a top 5 spot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was there was a lot of contact that was going on even after the race. They smashed the hell out of them too, even after the race that was going on. A lot of contact in this truck race for sure. Vegas sure holds a lot of speed, but that wind was blowing all weekend. That was tough for them guys. I mean, and it wasn't just a little wind; it was a whole bunch of wind blowing these guys down into turn 3. It was a challenging race for everybody that weekend out there at Vegas.
Yeah, it was. The wind was crazy out there. Rhodes wins stage 2. Then it was Bush, Majeski, Nemechek, Gray, Chandler, Crafton, Eckes, Friesen, and Kraus. Rhodes, Gray, and Eckes and Ty stayed out under that last caution there. So we talked to Ty a little bit about that track position there, but it got him some good stage points in stage 2. He had another close call, though. Him and Nemechek hit the wall after getting loose, and he was right there. Boy, these trucks are having some issues, too, with people getting loose. Hulsevar spun after contact with Priest, and it was starting to get aggressive at that point.
Yeah, Priest just sent Hulsevar across the grass, and there was another one that you thought that the whole front end was going to, get taken right out. And matter of fact, he got all 4 tires off the ground. And when he hit that concrete patch, but somehow he kept the splitter on the front of that truck. But there was some grass flying, man. You just see big clumps of grass, but boom, but he kept the splitters on, man. Usually, sometimes you see that it just absolutely rips the whole front end of the truck off.
Oh, it destroys it.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate incident between Ty and Ben Rhodes, Rhodes kind of pushed Majeski up a little bit. I don't think that was intentional. Ty just tried to gather it back up, got into the right rear of Rhodes. Rhodes slammed the wall. As Ty said, glad to see he was okay. Obviously, nothing intentional there. And then after that, boy, there was a couple of big things. Eckes was leading, blocks Bush with 9 to go, but Eckes goes hard into the inside wall on the backstretch, pancaked the driver's side of the 98, and he slid back up the track. Close calls there after that happened. Glad to see Christian was okay, but he was not clear, and that's what started that.
Yeah, and that was a block right there, and that block did not work. And there was, they looked at it to see, if Kyle actually moved, and Kyle kept his line, and Eckes just came down on him and just, sent him. And then that pancake job against the wall, that's kind of scary, when you hit it like that.
Yeah.
And then come bouncing back, and then all of a sudden he comes on the track, and you're just like, ooh, hold on. So that was another Thor truck that got bad damage out of it too.
Yep. What a finish, though. Kraus had an amazing save on the backstretch. He had contact with Enfinger and Nemechek. He had a little bit of a handful the last few laps. And then due to the contact, Enfinger and Nemechek with some hard wrecks coming to the checkered flag. Anderson was involved in Nemechek's spin. Some tore up trucks there, but a good battle between Zane and Chandler. Kyle Busch wasn't far behind them. Chandler Smith wins the race. Zane Smith crossed second, but he was DQ'd again. So Busch was second, then Friesen, Priest, Gray, Matt DiBenedetto, Crafton, Holmes, Self, and Ty gets a top 10.
Yeah, Gray. How's that, man? There's that 15 truck. He's got that thing cooking this year too. He's been getting better all the time.
He sure has. And again, unfortunate. Hopefully the team can rebound after that unfortunate crash there on the highway.
Man, but Anderson, when he creamed Nemechek, just literally just a right hook. Oh, and just like, wow, that was just a nasty wreck. And just absolutely destroyed that Ford truck, man. That was after the whole race was over, So, so yeah, you're flying at Vegas, man.
Oh, for sure. Let's transition into the Xfinity Series right away. Ty Gibbs packs air and barely touches the back of Ryan Sieg, who makes significant contact with the wall. Caution came out for Brendan Poole, who blew up shortly after that because there was no caution for the Sieg contact there. And then it stayed yellow due to snow, dude. Snow in Vegas.
Yeah, I saw that. I said to my wife, I can't believe this. It's freaking snowing in Las Vegas. Yeah, Ryan Sieg, he's got a new friend, doesn't he? He's him and Ty are good friends now for sure, man. And I guess the word was put out that this is not finished, and he is not happy with the results of what happened with it. And apparently he still thinks he's got a score to settle. So stay tuned.
Well, he said it wasn't over after the red flag there, caution due to the snow. He was posted for not meeting speed after they got going green again, and he attempts to damage Gibbs by putting him up the track, but Sieg actually spun and collected Moffitt and Creed. Gibbs barely got damage out of it. Excuse me. Here's my opinion. If you're going to do that, make sure you actually get the guy, because it really sucks that there's innocent bystanders involved in that. And I get Ryan Sieg is a smaller operation fighting for everything he's got, but if you're going to do that, just put him in the wall.
It's the innocent bystanders that sucks about the whole thing. I mean, I understand that you want to even a score with somebody, but then two other guys that had nothing to do with it ends up messing up their day, and that makes it unfair for them. And that's kind of makes it sour.
Absolutely. And then,
but you'll still have that, and we'll see that again. It's always a part of racing. Every once in a while, somebody will come up and do that, but you should save it maybe for Martinsville and maybe not on a high-speed track like Vegas.
Well, again, if you're going to do it, actually finish the job.
Yeah. Don't whiff at him.
Yeah.
It was a whiff.
Yeah. And I get where Ryan's coming from, because Ty totally was at fault for the incident, and Sieg has a right to be mad and retaliate how he sees fit. But you gotta do better job than that.
Lap three, and you're in the wall. You're stuffed in the wall, and your day is done. So,
yeah.
You look forward to racing all day, and you want to give her, and then lap three, it's all over. Being so aggressive at lap three. So, yeah, I can see the frustration there, man.
Yeah, and I think he didn't want to damage his car any further because, again, they're a smaller operation, but maybe better timing than if you're going to do something like that. Anyway, moving on. Gragson wins the stage. Then Mayer, Barry, Gibbs, Truex, Allmendinger, Hill, Jones, Hemrick, and Nemechek were the top 10. Stage 2 was also won by Gragson. Then it was Gibbs, Mayer, Hill, Hemrick, Jones, Barry, Nemechek, Truex, and Allgaier.
Yeah, and in that stage 2, Awuji, he did a power slide. Kyle Weatherman lost it off of 2, and he got put in a wall. How about Matt Mills? Oh, Matt Mills just absolutely pounded that wall, and I'm sure that knocked the air out of him. And that was another one that was working his way to get back onto the racetrack, and that car was just simply destroyed. Wow.
Yeah, he had contact with Joe Graff Jr. and the stage actually ended under caution. Unfortunate for them, but
All 4 tires came off the ground, man. That car was off the ground after he hit that wall. That was a solid shot.
very,
So,
very.
yeah.
Gregson thought he had a right front cording and he had to pit earlier than he wanted or needed. Teams actually pit shortly after he came down, which at the time I said is going to save his day, save his finish. Jesse Awuji then spins later on in front of Vargas and Parsons, who had nowhere to go. Big damage there. Awuji had kind of a long day at Las Vegas, unfortunately. Jones got loose and into Mayer, who slammed the wall. That brought out the caution with 18 or so to go. Man, how about this? What a save for Nemechek as he came down pit road after Truex got loose under Hill and they slammed the wall. It was a big hit for Hill, who's had a rough couple weeks after winning Daytona. But what a save for Nemechek. Wow.
Yeah, that's for sure. He did that. And hey, Mayer lost his bumper cover again 2 weeks in a row. Maybe they should figure out a way to keep that back bumper cover on. I saw that cover come off. I'm going, wow, again, what a bummer. So, but yeah, Hill pounding that wall too, man. That was another hard hit that happened over there in 4.
Yep. Well, the race would end under caution. Gibbs wins the race, excuse me. So remember the retaliation thing? Well, it especially didn't work out because the guy you were trying to wreck under retaliation goes on and wins the race. Wow. Gregson finishes second. Hemrick, Berry, Allgaier, Castle, Creed, Moffitt, AJ, and Jones. Graff also got DQ'd for a lug nut violation. Only 17 of 20 were tightened correctly.
You know, when I'm on YouTube like that, I was watching the race when I've got Sling, and there was 30 laps, and all of a sudden it got cut off. So I didn't get to watch the last 30 laps. I had to wait till it got on YouTube this week. So I watched the final 30 laps. And when it came to that last restart, and I heard some people complaining that Ty Gibbs jumped that start. So I went back and I looked at it to make sure that Gregson was the leader, okay? And I looked at that, and that could have been a ball and strike call. I looked at that 3-4 times. I replayed it. I looked at that saying, did Gibbs actually jump? He actually lagged back just a little bit, but he was in the starter's box. He could have easily been called for jumping the start there, man. It was so close. I mean, I looked at that, and that was a 50-50 ball strike call, man. They could have pinched Gibbs for jumping the start on that one.
Yeah, super close there. But there's Ty Gibbs again. You know,
he won the race by doing that, so it worked for him. You know, and too bad for Gregson. You know, his home track. You know, and fell short. You know.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I just mentioned that Graff was DQ'd for a lug nut violation, but I said 17 of 20 were only tightened correctly, but that means there were some loose lugs. We still got that issue.
Cool beans. So yeah, there's not just one loose lug; they're everywhere yet. Still in the other series. Yep, they still do it the old-fashioned way.
Yep, that's right. Let's go into the Cup Series at Las Vegas. There was a close call in lap 1 when Logano got a super run and got into Elliott, who just got into Cindric. Could have easily turned Elliott there, and it almost did.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they were showing earlier when Kyle Busch was in practice, and he cut a tire going into turn 3, and he destroyed that car. So they took that car. It had no wrap on it. I don't think it even had a motor in it. It had no seats or nothing. It was just a plain car. What they spent 6 to 8 hours putting all the parts and pieces in that car so Kyle Busch could actually race that. Quite amazing of how much work they had to put into get that car up there since he destroyed that 18 car.
Yeah, it was kind of a parts car. It had Hamlin's back window in it, so maybe they were planning on Hamlin needing it more than anyone else. But
Yeah.
no, it kind of had all different parts ready to go in it, and unfortunately they had to use it. Big hit for Kyle in that practice session.
Oh, that car was destroyed, man. That rear end of that car was hit bad. So yeah, once again,
Yeah.
trying to see how that new car holds up with some contact, and these cars get tore up pretty good, man. Not as good as a composite body in the Xfinity series. These cars actually, they might save on tire rubs, but boy, I tell you, when you hit something, it destroys the car for sure.
Yeah, you said that once before on the podcast, and I said I'm wondering if it's because of the way the car's built versus the Xfinity car, but I'd be curious to hear from someone who has more knowledge of that. There's a couple of spins by Haley, Custer, and Reddick that could have been worse than that they were. There was some contact with Dillon. Kyle Busch was involved after contact with Hemrick, but Bowman wins the stage. Bowman, Byron, Chastain, Hamlin, Elliott, Larson, Blaney, Briscoe, Kyle Busch, and Bell. Kyle Busch had an issue with Briscoe, but it looked like good racing. If anything, I thought Kyle was more aggressive against Briscoe in that run.
Yeah, his crew chief was saying, "Come on, hold it, don't do it," and whatever. And it was from a restart, and Briscoe kind of blocked him going into one, and it looked like a minor kind of deal, but Kyle got a wild hair there. When Cole Custer, when he spun his car and he had that flat tire, you see him come into the pits, and what the old crush panel used to be. That was a whole different kind of deal. That wheel well came apart when he came in the pits. That was a different kind of view. Just like that's the new crush panel. So that's a first for that one for sure. And then when the 18 tried to miss the 31, what happened was Dillon washed up and clipped the 31. When Kyle Busch came off of that hill and he slammed her down into the apron, they were worried about the louvers in the back, and he did slam the apron of the track, so they were quite concerned about how those louvers work back there and if they were damaged or not.
Yeah. Boy, it sounds like it's so easy to damage the diffuser in the back there. And you definitely do not want to do that.
Yeah, also Reddick did the same thing when he went through the grass and he slammed into the banking, that little oval that was in the infield there, and that was another one where you looked at the back end of the car and see how it got slammed in. So and then I was kind of asking the question, like, what is that? What are they made out of? And they're made out of carbon fiber, So I don't know. Maybe I know they're lightweight like that. It's going to see how well them hold up. Like I remember Austin Dillon talking when they first started testing the car, saying, you could go up there and stick your nose underneath there, and you can actually mess that up for the guy. So it's a valuable piece back there that people are protecting, So something to watch as the season goes on and how that works.
For sure. And yeah, that conversation with Austin Dillon on the Dale Jr. download, the other person that was with him from Chevrolet, I think it was, he was saying that you could actually maybe help the guy by damaging the diffuser. So there's a couple of different thoughts. If I'm sure it's circumstance, but
you're risking your nose doing it, so right. You're playing with fire if you're doing it.
Yeah, Reddick had some leg numbness at Las Vegas too, so that was the second week. But in addition to him, Almirola did as well. So a couple people having issues with that at Las Vegas. Briscoe got loose and got into the right rear of Suarez, who went hard into the front stretch wall. Almost reminiscent of Ty and Ben Rhodes incident.
Same kind of deal. Wrong place, wrong time. Suarez was just in the wrong place and got clipped. And thankfully, he got to keep that against the wall. As he was hitting the wall, he kept it towards the wall. If he would have slid down the hill there and come down in front of everybody, that could have been a real messy accident there.
Huge. That would have been huge. Brad spun and collects Blaney, who said he was thankful that the 6 was able to continue and that he was out of the race.
He did.
Russ,
Yeah. He made that comment. I thought that was humorous. Broke the
yeah,
radiator on the 12 though, so you could see the water coming out of the radiator. Say, "Yep, you're toast."
yeah, you could see the steam coming out of the ears of Blaney too. So, yeah, some sarcastic there. Blaney is one of those with dry humor as well. He's fun to listen to.
Yep. He's got some good stuff, man. So he's fun to listen to.
Briscoe and Cindric both spin while riding the top, almost like there was oil on the track. I don't know if they ever said if there was anything out there or not, but Cindric collected Burton there.
Just before that, how about the save by Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson? He saved that and he almost hit Chastain. He just missed him, and less of a driver would have wiped that truck. He needed that whole track to save that 5 car, and he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome save by Larson there. Bell spun. Burton also spin behind that a ways. It was kind of, I don't know, synchronized spinning a little bit. Chastain goes on and wins the stage. Talking about parity, Chastain had a good day. Elliott, Larson, Byron, Kyle Busch, Truex, Logano, Harvick, Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace were your top 10.
And once again, I got written here of all the pit problems. Earlier in the race, Truex, his front changer took the tire and he let her go, and it ended up going way down on the next pit, and they called that interference. Yeah, and that's where Hamlin, when they dropped the hose, they dropped the vehicle on the hose, and you see the guy running around the front of the vehicle, all of a sudden just like, it just stops him in his tracks. Denny did the right thing. He put it in reverse, and he actually backed it up, but they were going to come around. They were going to jack the truck, jack the car up. And so, once again, these penalties on pit road, man, they're costing a lot of people, costing a lot of good finishes, man, messing up like that.
Absolutely. They're big penalties, big penalties happening there. Speaking of pit road penalties, I guess I don't know if you'd call it a pit road penalty or not, but he's coming off a pit road, Denny Hamlin, and he downshifts instead of upshifts, excuse me. Spins out. Transmission was done after that.
He tore the gears right out of her, man, and now she was all done. And it's a different shifting pattern on these, and when old habits never die, I guess. Well, that one had died, so now, I guess you do it for so many years, and you just consciously just do it, and this time it bit him. So yeah, he ripped the gears right out of there. And do you know he's 30th in points right now? I mean, talk about being in a hole. Now, remember when the season started, talking about getting a good start? I mean, Hamlin, that team is still capable of winning a race. I mean, they should be able to be, they should be okay. But talk about struggles, man. Just like, geez, not very good, good start out of the box for that team.
But all you need to do is win one race, and you're in the playoffs now. So that could,
that's all it takes, and that team's capable.
Yep. So, completely different situation from a few years ago. Larson was speeding on pit road prior to the yellow coming up. That yellow saved his day. So there's another penalty that could have been bigger. Eric Jones got loose and hit the wall. His suspension broke after that, and the yellow came out with 2 to go. Bubba Wallace barely missed him somehow. I'm not sure how, but he unfortunately slides into the inside wall. That would have been ugly.
You know what would have been even better? Somebody told that pace car to stop. That pace car stuck his nose out, and if that pace car would have went maybe 2 feet further, or if the 23 would have been a little bit closer, he would have creamed that pace car. Somebody must have yelled stop, and that 23 come flying, sliding right by and nail that tire barrier. That's the 3rd week in a row now that Bubba Wallace has lost the right front fender on his car. 3 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah. It makes me think of when that wasn't a sport truck that hit the pace car down at Slinger one year and flipped over. Were you there for that?
Yeah, that was that little mini truck, and the pace car just decided to pull out there, and then the mini truck just like, oops, should have been out there, and it hit the right front tire of the pace car, and it just scuffed the tire. It was amazing that pace car didn't get damaged. But
Unreal.
I had video on that. Like, wow, the pace car got hit. So that was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, you did that in iRacing too, except it was the leader and not the pace car.
Well, he wasn't in line like he was supposed to be. So I took care of him. And you piddled your pants when you laughed so hard on that one.
I think we need to do an iRacing. Mark, we should do Double L Sports Network iRacing stories with Mark Allen, because that would be unbelievable.
There's been some adventures, man. There's some unbelievable stuff that's going on there. Only me. That's the way I would say some of that stuff. I mean, but when I'm aggressive on there, stuff happens. But that all happened in real life, man. They take my license away.
Yeah. Oh man. Bowman, Larson, and Byron take 2 tires on the late pit stop there. Kyle was the first one on 4 freshies. Bowman and Larson have a good battle, but Bowman pulls it off from the inside lane and wins. Nice power move there. Larson was second. Chastain, Kyle Busch, Byron, Almirola, Reddick, Truex, Elliott, and Bell were the top 10. You talk about a few things here. Heartbreak for Kyle Busch. He had the crash the day before, spun out during the race, hit the wall a few times, and was leading with 2 to go when the yellow came out. Unbelievable heartbreak for him. How about Chastain and the day that he had? There's some more parity. How about Almirola is the only driver with 3 top 10s to start the season. Man, this has been a good start.
When Kyle and Truex were running like 20 laps to go, all the way down to 3 laps to go, that was some good, hard racing to it. And Truex kind of set back, cooled his tires, come back. He took a shot at him. He cooled him again, and he was coming one more time. And I still think he probably would have fell short, but them 2 were putting on a hell of a show. And I had to be to work, and I was sitting there and all the lights were off in the house. I got my jacket on. I'm standing there with the clicker in my hand waiting for the race because I was cutting it pretty close that I had to fly out of here and get to work on time. And all of a sudden I see Eric Jones go, that was unbelievable how Eric Jones was, aimlessly going down the front stretch. He couldn't steer the car and then shot across that front stretch, man. How the 23 missed him. It was unbelievable. But that was all some good stuff, man. But I didn't get to see the last 3 laps live. And then for some reason, the local radio station didn't have it on the radio. And then I've got MRN on my phone app, and I believe it was on PRN. And so when I got to work, I was rather steaming. I was not happy. And so when I got to work, about 20 minutes into work, I kind of acted like I went in the break room to make coffee. And I went to my phone, and then it said the 48 one. I'm going, well, how the hell did that happen? And then finally, after a while, all of a sudden the video started coming out, and then I caught it that were the 2 tires. And, the 2 tires was a good call. Kyle Busch, definitely should go to church, man. He used a lot of profanity of how somebody like that falls into it. And I believe Bowman was going to sell him a T-shirt, because he was called a hack last year by Hamlin. So I think he wants to butter him up with some T-shirts or whatever. So, but all good entertainment, man. It's good stuff, man. We're going to Phoenix and we're going to play some more. I love it.
I have the quote here. Kyle Busch says on Bowman winning, the same effing guy who backs into every effing win that he ever effing gets backs into another effing win. BS.
Yep, and I heard it all, they just like, and it had to be frustrating for Kyle. They worked hard all day, and he had that spin early in the race and worked it up there. And hey, the win was right there, and it all got taken away, by strategy. The strategy works, and it's just the way it goes, man. Yeah, Bowman fell right into that, but yeah, Kyle.
Hold on.
Kyle had a lot to say about that.
Hold on. He didn't fall. So I have to disagree with you and Kyle a little bit. And I think maybe you were just saying that to continue on with your conversation. Bowman put himself in the position to take 2 tires to have that shot. So I don't want to say he backed into it.
Well, Kyle Larson was the same thing. He had a penalty with 43 laps to go, and he came out like 19th, 18th, 19th place. And, naturally that was my pick, and I was just all you got to do is beat Logano, your pick. That's all I wanted. And, all of a sudden Larson come up and he was like 8th, 7th. He was going to just finish there, and when the race was all over, he was another one that just decided to take 2 tires also. And, 2 tires, 4 tires on an old track. If I was the leader, when you're leading, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you come in, the rest stay out, and if you stay out, the rest come in. You would think on an abrasive old racetrack like that 4 tires would be the way to go. But clean air is also part of the equation. So yeah, I still said backed into it because, the race was practically all bow tied ready for Kyle Busch to win that race, and it got taken away, and a little bit of strategy here and there. So,
well,
that's racing, man. That's racing. That's
exactly. How many times has Kyle Busch backed into a win?
There's many guys that's done that. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bowman does have shirts out. I am considering buying one. It's pretty funny. I have to look up the shirt here. I'll do that here in a second.
You're pretty funny.
But there's a couple other things that happened there. Kyle Busch also said in an interview that we get these cars from Walmart or something to that level. So he had another pretty darn good quote there. And then how about Greg Ives' reaction to the win? So Greg Ives is Alex Bowman's crew chief. He says, "I appreciate it, Alex. 5 years ago, I lost my mother." Bowman responds with, "It's been a heck of a journey, Greg. I appreciate all your hard work. Redemption here to win today." I thought that was pretty cool.
That's good stuff, man. So yeah, Greg Ives, that's one of our local boys up here. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that shirt here and see the design. I saw it, and I think it's pretty cool. So it says it's kind of got that that Las Vegas logo with the circles on it. It has that. I'm waiting for the image to load here.
The welcome to Las Vegas sign, the try or the
yes, exactly.
Yeah, the diamond shaped sign of welcome to Las Vegas. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so I think it says Alex, no talent or no luck, something.
Maybe being a hack, because that's what Hamlin called it last year, the hack. And oh, geez, yeah, right away they jump on it. And got to have T-shirt sales, and make money out of it. And you know what? It works. It works. I mean,
it's hilarious.
Some of these guys can put that stuff to charity or whatever. So hey, far out, man. Hey, the more the merrier. That's good stuff.
So I got it here. So it's kind of in the colors of the car. So it's got that pinkish, the whitish, and the that pinkish color, the white, and the tealish color. And in the circles is Alex, and then in that like triangle looking or diamond looking thing, it says Bowman, all luck, no skill, with dices coming off of it that say ABR for Alex Bowman Racing. And on the back, on the very top, it says backing into wins.
And one of them might just get dropped off at the 18 pit this week, or just kind of throw it in his car. Here you go, a free T-shirt for you there, buddy. So
yeah,
that's all good stuff, though. That's
He's and I think he's donating some of the proceeds from this too to go to animal shelters. He's very big on that, which is awesome.
Yep.
But that hack shirt from Denny Hamlin last year, and then this shirt, I gotta tell you what, he's got like a career in marketing or something, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, and I mean, and it doesn't wait either. I mean, it's just like the next day, it's there.
Next day,
get the ball moving, and we're going to do this right now, and they get the ball rolling, and someone takes off running with it. So good stuff, man. I love it. Keep it up, man. I hope more guys do this stuff.
Yeah. Now, if everyone did it and it happened every week, it wouldn't be
It
as
would
good.
get old. Yeah,
Yeah, it would
but
get old, but these last two times has been pretty funny. This all luck, no skill thing might end up at the front door of the Leach residence one of these days.
yes, sir.
Well, I have some unfortunate news. Mark's leading the points 8-1 over me.
What's the score?
8-1.
8-1. And if I didn't hit the sand barrels with the 19 who was coming up front, you might not even be on the scoreboard yet.
Well, hold on here because you had Kyle Busch who was 3 laps down and somehow gets back on the lead lap at all clubs. So
Well, Blaney
you
pooped
simmer
the
down.
bed, so I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Blaney was strong all race until I don't know if he had a bad set of tires or whatever, but he just fell right off the face of the earth on that last 30 laps.
I
Just
saw
like,
a video of him. He got super loose, twitchy loose out of 4, and that was the end of that. But
he was done. So 8-1, good start. So guess what? You get to pick 2 of them here for this weekend for the Xfinity and the Cup race.
yeah, next week at Atlanta, I get the truck
You get
pick.
the truck, and you might as well probably end up picking the first ones at Atlanta too, on the other ones too. So take a big swing at it, buddy. You get the whole field. What do you want for Atlanta?
Well, I didn't give this much thought, but I'm just going to go with my memory and who I know is good at Phoenix. So starting with the Xfinity Series to make up some ground here to go 2-0 this week, I am going with Justin Allgaier.
Well, that's my second pick because I'm going to take my first pick. I'm going to take the last guy who won there at Phoenix last year and won the championship. I'm going to go back and take a little Daniel Hemrick, and we're going to and keep this roll going there. So the 11 beats the 7. It's not the 7-11, it's the 11-7.
Well, I think that's a good pick there. I like my pick better, so there.
Okay.
Cup Series, I am going to go with Martin Truex Jr.
That is my first pick. That's exactly what I was going to take. So
I don't know if that's good.
I'm kind of torn between I would really like to take Kevin Harvick, but I'm not. That one's right on. You know how much he used to dominate Phoenix, but now all of a sudden you look at the statistics the last few years and it's not there. You know, he had a way of running Phoenix where he was just the angles and the brakes and the gas and how he did that. But I think a lot of people caught on to what he was doing there. I'm going to run with Chase Elliott. I'm going to say it's time for that Hendrick car to shine. As long as they don't keep making mistakes and doing what they're doing. So we'll run Chase Elliott up against Truex against you there on Sunday.
I like that pick. I mentioned earlier with Chase Elliott, there was a discussion on NASCAR radio, Sirius XM channel 90, that did Alex Bowman pass Chase Elliott to be the number 2 driver at Hendrick. Now, before, I know there's going to be a lot of people that say, are you kidding me? But think about this. Alex Bowman won 4 races last year, and now he's won 1 before Chase this year. Even if he fell into it, as people want to say, he put himself in position to do that. I still think Chase is number 2 at Hendrick, but it's kind of interesting to think about. I didn't think about it until I heard that discussion.
But just watch, all of a sudden now Byron will come up. You know, all 4 of them are just super teams. All 4 of them. Yep. They're young. You know, there's a young talent. They're going to be there for a long time. You know, you're going to see every once in a while, somebody's going to get hot as it goes on. So, yeah, we'll see. There's definitely, I'm sure Chase, wants to prove himself. You know, he doesn't want to be the 5th wheel, so it's going to get him motivated too. So that's why he's going to win the Phoenix 312 this weekend, man. How about the weather out there, man? They're talking 80 for Saturday and Sunday, 0% chance. So the Phoenix weather looks beautiful for Phoenix this weekend, man.
Yep. Awesome. Phoenix puts on a good show. I'm looking forward to watching that this weekend here. Unfortunately, our Badgers lost tonight, so that's the end of the Big Ten tournament for them.
And as for you, since you have a little bit of issue with time, make sure you set your clocks ahead so you ain't late. So you're not late for the cup race on Sunday there, buddy. So I'm going to zip that in there on there to make sure that you are on time for the green flag on Sunday. All right, buddy?
Well, we have baptism this weekend, so if I'm late, I'm late for our own kids' baptism, so that would not be good.
And the race is on normal TV, which I don't have a VCR for DVR for that. And so
VCR?
I did say VCR. I do have one over here, but it does not record digital. And I was, and there's something out there, but I'm a tight wad right now. I don't feel like spending the money. I cut the cable here at home here. I finally went and got Sling, so I'd recommend that they do a good job there. And hey, when you watch YouTube races, after when the races go on commercial on the network, the broadcast keeps going and it ends up being a crank it up is what it ends up being. They do bumper cams and in-car cams. So every time that the network goes on commercial while they're on green flag, you get more crank it ups, and my wifey loves that a lot. So it gets a little noisy around here. The neighbors know that there's a race on, so, but the YouTube, I won't be able to watch the Phoenix race probably till Tuesday. I'll know everything that's going on with it, but that's fine. But I'll catch up and see where that is since I'm working on Sunday. I'm a working man on Sunday, losing an hour of sleep Saturday night. So I'll be dragging my knuckles on the parking lot, dragging into work and trying to make a difference in this world. How's that?
Well,
that's my story.
I like YouTube TV, like actual YouTube TV, not you. I like YouTube as well, but YouTube TV. The thing I like about it is you can add stuff to your library. So NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, Truck Series. If it gets rained out, on cable, you would have to try to record multiple shows, and then sometimes they would update their guide, and it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't record. Then you'd have to go on YouTube, which is fine. But you don't have to worry about that with YouTube TV. It just knows when to record it, and it'll record at any time. I love YouTube TV. It's a little more expensive than Sling, but to me, it's worth it. Cheaper than cable.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll get regional sports networks. So like up here we have Bally Sports, or it used to be Fox Sports Wisconsin. That annoys me. They took those off of the streaming services, so now your only option to get those is cable. Whatever. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole I don't want to go on. So anyway, looking forward to Phoenix here. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Oh, I should mention here, we're going to extend our yearly contest for the champions to try to get people into drawing to win either their Sunday ticket to the Snowball Derby this year or the pay-per-view, the 4-day pay-per-view. So we're going to extend that. We don't have a date set up yet. We just want to encourage more participation, so look out for that. Mark, I want to do a little different ending here this week. We got our ending video, but I want to do kind of a cheers ending every time we end one of these to all our fans, everyone going through a hard time, doing everything. So cheers to you. Cheers to everyone. Thanks for always joining on this. Thanks to everyone for the support. And hey, we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll see you. And get ready for April 10th, man. The icebreaker at the Dells, we're within 30 days of that. So I am totally pumped for that, man. Ready to go for that. So
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see everybody at the racetrack then, for sure.
For sure. All right. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.